Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the Game According to Me, my podcast where we look back at the week that was in pro and college football and the week ahead to what will be college and pro football. As always, we start with the NCAA, so let's go ahead and let's kick that thing off. Starting with college football, we look back at week 3. On Friday, the 13th ranked Kansas State Wildcats beat the Arizona Wildcats 31-7. Illinois took down Central Michigan 30-9. Illinois is now ranked the 24th ranked team in the nation. Oklahoma State beat up on Tulsa 45-10. Michigan State, after the loss of Texas, came back with a 28-18 victory over Arkansas State. Alabama destroyed Wisconsin 42-10. LSU slipped by the South Carolina Gamecocks 36-33. Boston College lost to Missouri 27-21. Miami and Florida beat the hell out of Ball State 62-0. Texas A&M ran over Florida 33-20. Billy Napier down there in Florida looks like the seat is continuing to get hotter and hotter for them down there in Florida. A game that should be at the end of the year, but because of the ridiculous nature of everybody moving and leaving conferences for some reason, it had to be this early. Oregon versus Oregon State. Oregon won 49-14. Oklahoma beat Tulane 34-19. What the hell was this last week when you needed Notre Dame? 66-7? How come you didn't leave 20 of those points for, say, get 20 of those points last week? 66-7 victory over Purdue. Utah State, again, another game that should be played at the end of the year on rivalry weekend. Utah won 38-21. Ole Miss just blowing out folks. Beat the hell out of Wake Forest 40-6. Texas beat University of Texas San Antonio 56-7. Quinn Ewers went out with an injury. Arch Manning came in, led the team to 5 touchdown drives, including 1 running touchdown, which was nothing. Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, could not do what he did. He's already more athletic than them, so that's interesting. But yeah, I think he'll play for the next couple of weeks while Quentin Ewers gets back from a rib injury. Nebraska beat Northern Iowa 34-3. Georgia slipped by Kentucky 13-12. And Tennessee routed Kent State 71-0. As we look ahead to week 4 college football, we got some nice matchups here, I think. The 24th ranked Illinois Fighting Illini takes on the 22nd Nebraska Cornhuskers. Let's see if Dylan Raiola can have his first big test, against this Illinois Fighting Illini team. And while that's going on, Ohio State's playing Marshall. Clemson is playing NC State. Iowa State is at home against Arkansas State. UCLA and LSU in a strangely Big Ten LSU, Big Ten SEC matchup. That just sounds weird. Louisville hosts Georgia Tech. Miami of Ohio is at Notre Dame. I won't say it beats Notre Dame because really they could, and it's going to be I'm going to lose my shit if Notre Dame can't put 66 points up on Miami of Ohio. At home, nonetheless. Better whoop that ass. Penn State's hosting Kent State. Northern Illinois is hosting Buffalo. The 11th ranked University of Southern California Trojans taking on the 18th ranked Michigan Wolverines. This is now a Big Ten matchup. This should be a very interesting matchup. Both teams right now have a good shot of making the playoffs. Even with the big loss to Texas, Michigan can still make it. Because they got the title game and then everything like that, so they can do that. But LSU right now is unstoppable. So let's see what happens. The 12th ranked Utah Utes taking on the 14th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. That should be a good matchup as well. Missouri, 7th ranked in the nation, taking on Vanderbilt. The Miami of Florida taking on South Florida. Bowling Green is at Texas A&M. Tennessee is at Oklahoma, which is an SEC matchup now. That should be very interesting. That should be very fun to watch. Ole Miss is hosting Georgia Southern. Texas is hosting Louisiana Monroe. And Kansas State is at BYU. So when you look back at it, Tennessee at Oklahoma, USC at Michigan, Utah at Oklahoma State, and Illinois at Nebraska. All good matchups this week. Should all be fun. All matchups should be are going to be pivotal in every one of those teams looking to join the new 12-team playoff. And that's one of the reasons why that, for as ridiculous as it is to have UCLA, USC in the Big Ten, and Cal and Stanford in the SEC, and even Arizona and Arizona State in the Big 12. As ridiculous as all of that is, it does set the stage for like some really good and big time matchups coming up here for throughout this regular season, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Can't deny that. So should be really fun. And we're going to have some fun watching. I know I am. Now on to what we have in the NFL. And now we go to the National Football League. You go back to Thursday. The Dolphins were at home against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills won that game in decisive fashion. But everybody's talking about Tua Tagovailoa, who has been placed on injured reserve as of another concussion he got late on in the game. Listen, it's a shame. It's something you didn't want to see. He's locking up with the fingers again seemed to happen. It was brutal, and it was ugly, and it was unfortunate. But shockingly, he got the concussion against Damar Hamlin, and he hit Damar Hamlin in the chest. So, just something nobody wanted to see, and now we've got people talking about the future of Tua Tagovailoa and what he's gonna do and this and that. And he signed like a major league contract. I think if he were to retire, he would get $90 million guaranteed of that contract. Of the original, like 200 and however it is, $220, $230 million contract, whatever it was. He would get like $90 million of that if he retired, which is more than enough for him and his family to have generational wealth, so that his sons and his kids, and maybe even his kids' could, still be living off of that, doing the right things with investments and just keeping it in the bank. So a lot of stuff could be happening there. So he doesn't have to play football anymore. But we'll see. But then again, they are football players, and that's what they're born to do, is play football. So, but he's on injured reserve right now, so he won't be playing football for at least another 4 weeks. That is that. So that might be for the best thing, because if he gets cleared this week or next week, he probably won't play, and that's probably not right. After getting your fourth concussion, let's hold out, make sure that you are truly and completely healthy. So on to Sunday's games. The Vikings upset the 49ers 23-17. Brian Flores, the defense coordinator of the Vikings, really it must have the Vikings number. That's the 49ers number, excuse me. That's the second time they've beat the Minnesota Vikings in consecutive years. The 49ers, excuse me, Jesus Christ. The 49ers in consecutive years. And so it's just, obviously they were out Christian McCaffrey, but still, this is a good team to say everybody else there. And the Vikings just were able to turn Brock Purdy over and hold the 49ers to only 17 points. So that's amazing. The Seahawks beat the Patriots 23-20 in overtime. The Patriots are going to be a hard, tough team for teams to fight under Jerome Mayo. They're going to fight their ass off. They're not going to get blown out, anything like that. We knew the defense was going to be pretty good even without Matthew Judon. And it just seems like this is, this is coming to affection. Jimmy Brissett is playing decent offensive football, and they're staying in these games. Seattle was just too much, got the field goal, and were able to win the game, 23-20. Excuse me, apologize for that. The Giants lost to the Commanders in historic fashion, 21-18. The Giants scored 3 touchdowns. The Commanders scored 0. That is the first time ever that has happened, or at least first time in a long ass time, where a team scored 3 touchdowns. They allowed no touchdowns, but still lost the game. Now the Giants lost their field goal kicker at some point during the game, so they couldn't kick extra points. They kept going for 2, and I think and obviously they didn't make any of them. That's why they had scored 18, and 7 field goals from the Commanders kicker, including one at the last second, helped them win the game 21-18. Very interesting. The Chargers beat the Panthers 26-3. The Panthers have decided to sit down Bryce Young because he has just looked terrible in these first few games of the season. They're going to go with Andy Dalton to see if they can maybe, 1, get back some offense, become more competitive in these games, and 2, maybe see if Bryce Young needs to sit. Maybe this is one of those things where Bryce Young needed to sit and learn and not just be thrown out in there. So you can never tell who needs to sit and who needs to to play. It is one of those things where it's just you just never know, and there's been plenty of examples on both sides of showing that it's it works both ways. So we don't know. It just depends on the quarterback, and you have to try to figure out if that's the right way to do it for quarterback that you draft. And maybe playing for Bryce Young has not worked, so they need to sit, let him learn, and maybe it might work in the future. The Saints tremendously upset the Cowboys, 44-19. They went into Big D and just dog walked them. They scored on every drive they had. They did the New Orleans Saints. Big time, 44-18. It was a big time win for the Saints. The Packers ran for over 200 yards against the Indianapolis Colts in a 16-10 victory. Thing coming from this game is two things. One, Malik Willis in his first start. One, his first touchdown pass in this league. They ran the ball with Josh Jacobs most of the time. For around 53 times, which is amazing. That's the most that's happened in over 6 decades. And 2, the center for the Packers at one point in the game threw up on the ball. And when Malik Willis got the ball and then felt that it was throw-uppy on it, and he went ahead and he just ran the ball, and Matt LaFleur asked him, Why did you not throw the ball there? He said, Coach, Josh threw up on the wall. So, and one thing I got from also that the referees came over and talked to Matt LaFleur and said, if he throws up again, you want us to you want us to take him out? And he says, yes, please. And that's something I never thought about. That you have to be taken out because of injuries, but if you were sick, right? If you were sick and you were, you were at least coming out of one end. I don't know if it's coming out the other end, but if it was, if you was throwing up and being sick, would that be a reason to like take out the person? That's something I never thought about. But if you think about it now, they might be sick again. Packers did win that game, if I had not said it, so that's interesting. The Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 18 to 13. These weird ass numbers. Trevor Lawrence regressing. The rookie year was just a garbage fire with Urban Meyer there. Second year, brought in Doug Peterson. Looked good. Took the Jaguars to the second round of the NFL playoffs, divisional round. Thought, hey, we need someone here. But these last 2 years, he looks to have seen him regressed. And they've not only have they like given him a whole bunch of money, but they have decided to rename the fucking stadium after him. It's not Everbank Stadium anymore. It's Trevor Bank Stadium. And that's how much they feel about this guy who's regressing. That's a very interesting story. We need to watch out for that down there in Jacksonville. The Jets beat the Titans 24-17. Aaron Rodgers' second win as a New York Jet. His first one was already the one last year. He did get the win, even though he only played 4 games. He was the starting quarterback of record, so he gets that win. And Will Levis has great talent, could be a great quarterback in his future, but he's doing some really stupid things. And once again, for the second week in a row, he's flipping the ball towards an opponent, towards a teammate, and it ends up being a turnover. And gosh darn it, I love the coach. They had all of them on Twitter. He's going to Will Levis, but what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, what the hell are you doing, Will Levis? You need to be better. You gotta be better. That's a good defense. You got some good talent around them. You just gotta play better. Stop doing this stupid shit. The Buccaneers beat the Lions in another upset, 20-16. I'm not sure what happened down the stretch. Calling runs and calling hook and ladder passes and things like that, and it's just not a good game for the Lions. It's not a good game for the Lions. It's one thing when you are the hunter. And last year they were the hunter. This year they are the hunted. A lot of teams think they are the best team in the NFC North. A lot of people think they're the best team in the NFC. So they're gonna get everybody's best. The Buccaneers were a playoff team last year. In fact, the Lions beat the Buccaneers in the playoffs last year. So they need to work harder. Jared Goff's got to be more careful with the turnovers. I like Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, top 12 quarterback. But he's got to be careful with those turnovers. He really's got to be. The Raiders came back down and beat the Ravens 26-23. Yes, making the Ravens 0-2. Oh, I've never hated a team so much that has no impact on my team in the division. But I hate the Ravens. I hate them. And it's mainly because people give way too much credit and way too much, you know, flowers to Lamar Jackson. Guys, let's face it. He's not that good of a quarterback. He's a great athlete. He's not that great of a quarterback. Stop trying to pretend like he is one. So glad to see the Raiders go in there and upset the Ravens. They're 0-2. I will be rooting for the Cowboys this week so the Ravens can go 0-3. The Cardinals pretty much destroyed the Rams 41-10. Rams had a lot of injuries, including one more to Cooper Kupp, which might keep him out of this next upcoming game. This might be one of those Rams teams where it's just on one year, off the other year, on 1 year, off the other year. This was this might be, and this might be their off year. So it's just one of those things. The Cardinals, hey, they're trying their best. They're looking good, playing well in these first 2 games of the season. See if they can keep it continue until the rest of the year. Maybe be a surprise team in the playoffs. We've got the Bengals at the Chiefs. Chiefs slipped by the Bengals 26-25. The Bengals played the better game, but they made one tremendous mistake at the end of the game with a pass interference, and it was the right call. You can't do that. That's blatant. Yeah, I mean there are some things where I'm okay with the refs letting go sometimes, but you have to call it down the middle and make the right call. And the right call was that he was pass interfered with. Harrison Butker came out, kicked a field goal to win it. Chiefs beat the Bengals once again. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the folks not too happy that they once again are starting 0-2 for the 3rd consecutive year. We'll have to see if the Bengals can step back up and keep from going 0-3 this week. The Steelers at the Broncos beat the Broncos 13-6. This is another one. Justin Fields is just not a quarterback, guys. He's a running back who can throw. And he made some nice throws that were called back for penalties. But he's in 2 games he's led the Steelers on 1 touchdown drive. Same as Caleb Williams. he's led who's a rookie. Justin Fields in his 4th year. And he's led the team to 1 touchdown drive. He is not the guy. If this is the way that you want to win, because this is the way that you're going to win with Justin Fields, you know, have defenses shut down the teams and you know, like my Bears. This is what my Bears are going to have to do to win, because Caleb Williams is a rookie. Win by any means necessary. That shouldn't be what the Steelers should do. The Steelers, after having 10 to 15 years of Ben Roethlisberger being great, being Hall of Fame worthy, throwing the ball all across the field while still running the football, you now have Justin Fields who can't throw it all. But that's what you want to do, Steelers. That's what you want to do. I think Mike Tomlin is going to end up with a still with a less than 500 record when they get to that back half of the season when they got to play everybody in their division. If you have Justin Fields, you're not going to win games like this. Winning games now, but you're not going to win those games. Bo Nix, just he going through some rookie struggles as well. He won the game. He won the quarterback job in the thing. So maybe he should have sat. And again, we never know. We just never know. But he had a really bad interception. But maybe he plays through it. As for my Bears, on Sunday night they played the Texans. Defense was great, kept the Texans in that offense to 19 points. Bears just couldn't do anything on offense though. Katie Williams is a rookie, played like a rookie. The offensive line was bad. Idiots out there with podcasts yelling at Ryan Poles to stop getting people who played like you. You really need to shut the fuck up because you didn't even play. You on a podcast, so shut the fuck up. Screaming and yelling like you an insane idiot. Shut the fuck up. Your takes are horrible. You shouldn't even be employed by the people who employ you. Ridiculous. Bears got to get back on the track. Got to try to do something. The coach this week. We see what happens. Texans 2-0, right where they should be. And on the Monday Night Football game, the Falcons, with a game-winning drive to beat the Eagles 22-21. A third down drop by Saquon Barkley that would have ended the game over. They're talking about like the play call should have been in one play so that you could have ran down the clock. You like that. Nick Sirianni wasn't really hearing it. Kind of over the second guessing in the media, I think, in Philly. But that's just the comes with territory. He's got to be better than that, I think. Nick Sirianni is one of those people that a lot of people say he's on the hot seat. I'm not sure. He might be, but just a few years after coming, listen, after a few years after winning the Super Bowl, Doug Peterson was fired from Philly. So I guess it wouldn't be a shock that a few years after going to the Super Bowl, that Nick Sirianni could be fired. So it's a really big difference, really big thing here. So that's it for week 2. Let's look ahead to week 3 tomorrow night. The Jets are hosting the Patriots. Again, this should be a really good game. The defensive Patriots will keep the Jets in check, and see if the Jets offense can get going as well. So that should be very interesting. Then we go to Sunday's action. We got the Giants at the Browns. 2 struggling offenses, 2 struggling quarterbacks, Watson and Jones. Browns defense is still good. We should see they should have an interesting day against the Giants. It's going to be all about how much can Sean Watson do on offense. According to the last couple games, all you need to do is just get some field goals. Excuse me, got the hiccups at the drink some water. The Saints are hosting the Eagles. Saints are 2-0. Eagles, we know, is 1-1. Eagles need a bounce back victory from this tremendous loss on Monday, and the Saints need to keep it continue. And we'll see how good they can be. Would they be a surprise contender this year? That's very interesting with Derek Carr. A lot of questions about Derek Carr. Is he good? Is he not good? Is he mid? What is he? I don't know. But I always thought he had some talent. He was on his way to winning the MVP a couple years ago, but he broke his leg when they were in Oakland. So that's very interesting. But we'll have to wait and see. The Texans are at the Vikings. Again, this should be another good thing, another good defense. C.J. Stroud and the boys are cleaning up against the Texans and the Vikings. They're 2-0 as well. It's a big time matchup. They're looking to keep it rolling with them, because who knows if the Lions and Packers are going to continue, like on the struggle bus. So if you're the Vikings, you're gonna try to get a lead, the biggest lead as you can in the NFC North, because both the Lions and the Packers could easily start running off things and take this back up. So you want to try to get a lead as big as you can in the North. The Broncos at the Buccaneers. This should be again a very good. This should be a very good test for Bo Nix. Again, another pretty easy defense, not easy defense, but a tough defense in the Buccaneers. And Baker Mayfield is playing tremendous ball. Broncos defense is okay. He should have some. He should be able to put up points against the Broncos. Packers are at the Titans. Malik Willis going to face a team that traded him. Should be very interesting. I don't know if they'll be able to run the ball like they against the Colts, against the Titans like they did against the Colts, but they're gonna probably go. The Titans are gonna try to make the Malik Willis beat him with his arm, but this is all again on Will Levis. Is he going to, do another "what the fuck are you doing" moment? So we have to wait and see. You got to stop having those moments. And if he can stop having those moments, the Tennessee Titans could be a major player in the AFC South. Bears are at the Colts. Colts have the worst rushing defense in the league, and DeForest Buckner is out with an injury. He's been put on IR. Chicago Bears have one of the worst rushing offenses. It's the movable force against the resistible. It's the resistible force against the movable object. That's what it is. That's what the Bears game is. That's the Bears run game and defensive, and the Colts run defense. So we'll see which one works happen. I think the one that does the other one the best is probably the one that's gonna win the game. And so that's that. And Caleb Williams can't turn the ball over. Neither can Anthony Richardson. Chargers are at the Steelers. This should be a big test for the Steelers. Justin Fields, if he plays, probably looking like more and more like he will play. Because that Chargers defense is something, and they're going to be a lot less, easier to score against, unlike the Broncos defense. And the Chargers, it's what I said before as hand. They haven't had to rely on Justin Herbert yet, but with that defense, they may have to. And will Jim Harbaugh want to do that? So they already have more rushing yards than passing yards. So Justin Herbert has been a perennial 4,000-yard passer. One of the better quarterbacks in this league. But now with Jim Harbaugh, they're just gonna run the ball. So we'll see how that ends up. The Dolphins are at the Seahawks. Skylar Thompson will start for Tua Tagovailoa. Skylar Thompson may not be it. Mike McDaniel, I think, is probably going to coach him up the best he can. But I expect the Seahawks to beat the Dolphins handily in this one. Panthers are at the Raiders. Again, I expect the Raiders to handle the Panthers. Even with Andy Dalton, maybe you'll be more competitive in this game, but I still expect the Raiders to win big time. Antonio Pierce has the Raiders team, looking pretty good, solid. 49ers are at the Rams, and the Rams are banged up. Everybody's doing like that. 49ers looking to make a comeback off of that loss to the Vikings. Still no Christian McCaffrey. Yes, he was been put on IR. But I think this should be a fun watch in the later windows. The Lions at the Cardinals is going to be very interesting. Both teams 1-1. Both teams looking to get the Cardinals looking to keep momentum from the victory over the Rams, and the Lions looking to regain their momentum back. I think this one's going to be interesting one to look at. I talked about it earlier. The Ravens at the Cowboys. Come on, Cowboys! Make these Ravens 0-3. Let's get the D back in Alice. Let's make the Dallas Cowboys. Stephen A. Smith said that earlier. Let's put the D back in Dallas. The Chiefs are at the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. I want to see the Chiefs. They lost Isaiah Pacheco, broken fibula. He's been put on IR. So it's might have to be on the passing game. But here's the thing, they signed Kareem Hunt, who used to be in Kansas City at one point. So here's all you have to do is just they're probably gonna they're probably gonna make you run on them. They're gonna cover two shell, and try to take away Worthy and Rice and Kelsey, and make you run the ball. And that's totally fine. Run the ball. Have 20 to 25 rushes. The yards don't matter because because if you have 20 to 25 rushes, that safety will start to come down, and then you can do play action pass to Xavier Worthy, Rasheed Rice, and Travis Kelsey. So I think they can do that. As for the Falcons, Cousins is continuing to get healthy each and every week. He played more on the center this week than he did last week. And so I just think what they have to do is they probably have to do the same thing. They need to run the ball more. Use B. John Robinson to get Darnell Mooney involved in the passing game this past week. So it's going to be a tough task for the Falcons, but I think they can. I think they can hang. I think they can hang. And but it's going to be tough. Those are the Chiefs. As long as you got Patrick Mahomes, you got a chance to win any game. 2 Monday Night Football games. First one is the Bills and the Jaguars. Listen, this is again the struggling Jaguars. They are struggling. They're going into Buffalo. Josh Allen and the crew are playing great right now. Buffalo needs to win this. They need to keep it continuing. Everybody said Buffalo wasn't going to, maybe be as good as it was in the past. Just on defense, they've proven wrong so far. Let's keep it continue. And Josh Allen, James Cook, and the boys, but they're putting up some. They are putting up some spectacular numbers this season so far. And then the second one, the Commanders at the Bengals. This is it. This is perfect for it. You started 0-2. Let's not start 0-3. Bengals, do what you do best. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I don't know if T. Higgins will be healthy enough to play. If he is, use them. Do what you gotta do. Put some points on the board. That's a rookie quarterback over there on the team. Let's just go ahead and let's make this. Let's get the first victory over the Commanders like you should. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this week's episode of The Game According to Me. Make sure you come back next week to wherever you're listening, with podcasts. My podcast is everywhere. Alright, next week as we look back at what's coming this week, what happened this week in college and pro, and look ahead to what's happening in the future week in college and pro football. Should be very interesting. We may even, let's see. No, I would probably say this is the 18th. What we might do is maybe do the 25th. The 25th episode of the show. That's when we might take a look at the baseball and see where it's at. Or maybe we might do it October 2nd as well. Who never knows. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like what you hear, or if you're watching this on YouTube, if you like what you see, well, actually, you don't see anything, so I was right the first time. If you like what you hear from this podcast and you want to support this podcast and support me as a creator, there are many ways to do it. You can go to patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you hear on my other podcast, the AJTRIP Show. That's my new podcast that is starting in the new year. What YouTube video you would like for me to do on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTRIP. And then what video games I play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AJTRIP20. I have to have the game for you to play it. So you get that. Also, if you go to like the Spotify page, which is my main host of my podcast, you can go there, and down in the description box below, and you can do that. You can go there and support me. There's 3 tiers: 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, and $9.99 a month. YouTube like that. Or if you don't have the financial resources to support me, that's totally fine. I understand. Inflation's high, and things like that. So you may not have the money to do it. still, just wherever you're at, if you're watching on YouTube, like my video, share my video, copy the link. You don't have to post it anywhere, just copy the link. Apparently, just by copying the link, that can help with engagement for the video as well. So go ahead and do that. Or if you're listening on the podcast, rate the podcast, give it a high rating. Share the podcast on all of your social media things. All of that can help me out when it comes to the creating. So I appreciate any bit of help that you want to send my way, financially, non-financially. I appreciate the fact that you're just listening to this, even just listening to this. I appreciate so much. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.